Well, hello guys. Today we are going to do some boho knotless braids. I'm going to start off with a nice lustrous shampoo. We're going to do a nice detox shampoo, which is definitely going to help remove those surface oils. And we're going to follow up with some moisturizing shampoo and conditioner. This is actually one of my favorite heat protectants that I just started using on myself as well. It definitely helps to speed up the blow dry time, it smooths the hair, and it's protecting the hair from the heat. I love it so much. My favorite parts about this product is that it's very, very lightweight, which makes it even better for heat treated hair. And it's also going to protect your hair from frizz and humidity, prolonging your heat stays. It's that amazing. Okay, the most tedious part of this whole service is separating these little boho pieces. So as you can see, I'm just putting a little bit of gel on the ends to keep them more uniform and separated because it's basically a weft, but without the weft. It's always good to have two lengths of braiding hair in hand because it just ensures that the braid is full towards the end. I do have a couple of guests who prefer me not use as much gel, or more so using it just to kind of control the hair a little bit, but not really slick anything down. So for this specific guest, that's essentially what I'm doing, just so I can get down those little resistant hairs as I'm braiding it down. Depending on the guest's hair density as well as how big the parts are, determine when I'm going to add the first piece of braiding hair. In this case, I added it after my first full stitch. I am left-handed, so I do feed in hair a little bit differently, but as you can see here, I just hold the hair in my right hand and I just feed it in right in between my index finger and my thumb, just to make it a little bit simpler. And then I combine it with what hair is between that specific finger. There are a couple different ways that I've been playing around with to add the frilly pieces. So this is one of the ways that I added it. I just kind of folded it over and then left the other half out. And then later on in the video, you'll see the alternative way that I'll add the pieces in. I'm not exactly sure which way I like better, but that's why I tested it out a couple different times in different areas. Stylists who are learning how to do feed-in braids might wonder when is it they should stop adding in the hair. When the density of the braiding hair matches the density of the section of your guest's hair is usually when you should stop. I will decide to add more hair if the guest decides they want the braids to be longer or if the braid at the bottom needs to be more fuller. You may have noticed that I actually extended this braiding hair to be longer on one side than the other, and that's because we're layering the braids, but we want them to all fall at the same length. So by pulling it, it's creating a longer foundation for when I feed in the rest of the hair. To prevent an early shoulder and wrist burnout, underhanded braids on the sides and bottom and overhand braids on the top seem to be more ergonomically comfortable. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do this, but I do know that some stylists prefer to do the style first and then cut, and then some prefer to do the cut first and then style. Maybe you can tell me what your preference is, but we test the waters out and do it either or sometimes. All right, so this is actually what it looks like when I'm feeding the hair in at the ends. It's basically the same idea as at the top, but you're mathematically deciding whether or not you're going to put the bigger piece or the smaller piece. It really just depends. I might start off with a longer piece, or I might start off with a shorter piece, and then I'll extend it on one side so that way one side is longer and one side is shorter. It really just depends on if I need to add more length or if I need to add more density. This is the alternative to how I added the curly hair the first time. Rather than folding it in half and leaving one piece out, I am braiding it in about maybe 4 times. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll land back into the hand that it was originally in, and then I'll take it out. I feel like this might be a more secure way of doing it, but I also feel like it depends on if you're the type of person who likes to pull your hair up or if you wear your hair down. So I worked in a braiding shop for about 3 weeks and I learned this cool customization aspect of the braiding process, and you're just cutting off the little frilly pieces that stick out, and sometimes you really can't help it because it's plastic hair, so sometimes the pieces stick out, and this just helps to conceal it. And then once we dip the hair, it definitely helps it melt it all together. But this is definitely a part of that process, especially going up the shaft of the hair. I have seen so many different creative ways to customizing the ends, but my favorite is using perma. It's because the curls will be bouncier or a little bit more looser, and it just makes it look so cute. It adds like a cute little feminine touch to the braid. But there are so many different ways to do it. You can use flexi rods. Some people might twist it or they might plait it. It really just depends on how you want the end result to look.